Hi and good morning, everybody. This is Rachel Maying, and I'm um, here in Sacramento, California. Thank you, everybody. Welcome back to Project We Inspire's Facebook platform and YouTube channel. Thank you again for all of your support, your love, and everything that you guys have done in the past about 2 years now since Project We Inspire started. So we want to continue to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. Again, Project We Inspire's mission and vision is to continue interviewing unique individuals who overcame struggles and barriers in order to achieve their goals, dreams, and passions. And we hope that each story, each journey can inspire, teach, and perhaps give you some insight into your life so that you can continue pursuing your goals, dreams, and passions too. So we are super blessed this morning. We have a special guest from Georgia, and thankfully, with Coach Steve, uh, he's introduced me to a circle of coaches, Hmong coaches from around the U.S. And today we have Coach Steve Hugh, and I'm going to try to say his name correctly because it's spelled differently than how it sounds. So it's Shezti, right?
Correct.
All right. He is the head of men's soccer coach at Toccoa Falls College in Toccoa Falls, Georgia. So thank you so much, Coach Steve, for joining us at Project We Inspire. And just before we start, we both have allergies, so I'm probably going to sneeze. So we have a little bit of sniffles and stuff this morning, but please don't mind us. We hope that each and every one of you is doing well. So if you have allergies too, a shout out to everybody who's struggling with uh, allergies and seasonal allergies and a cold. But we are so glad to have you today, Coach Steve.
Thank you for having me.
So we've been definitely preparing for this interview for like over a month now. So for those of you who haven't listened to any of our um, interviews yet, we do a pre-chat and we talk a lot about their lives. And today we really want you to get to know all of our coaches on a personal level. So let's start with your childhood. Tell us a little bit about where you were born, where you grew up, how many siblings you have, and among your siblings, what was the order of your birth?
So I was born and raised in Georgia. I am the oldest of four. There's two boys and two girls. My youngest sister, she's 5 or 6, and so she was kind of a blessing, a blessing for my parents. It was kind of unplanned, and so I'm the oldest. My childhood, I would say, I mean, it was pretty awesome. I was involved in sports pretty much my whole life. I grew up in church, and I still attend to this day. So that's the short version of my childhood.
Oh, cool, nice. So you mentioned that you have four siblings. You're the oldest of four,
Yes.
two boys and two girls. How did that impact you becoming a coach?
So it kind of helped me because again, being the oldest, I kind of had to take care of all the younger ones, anyways. And so being a coach, it's kind of like me being, especially so young, it was kind of like me being the older brother, and so that kind of helped me uh, talk to my guys in a certain way and deal with certain things certain ways. And so yeah.
No, that's awesome because I'm the oldest of five, so I can totally relate. And I know that those of you who are watching, if you're the oldest of 4 or 5 kids, if not more, definitely you learn to take command, right? If
Mhm.
not, to support and help your younger siblings. And also, Coach D, you mentioned that you were involved in sports and soccer your whole life. Who introduced you to soccer, and what do you love about soccer?
So I want to say my dad about introduced me to soccer, and so growing up, um, we had so my grandpa. Sorry, backstory. My grandpa was really blessed in a way, and so he had 7 daughters, and I guess in traditional Hmong culture, once the girls get married, they move away. But for him, his daughters got married, and all the uncles stayed nearby. So like
Yeah.
there was like probably 8 of us that grew up playing soccer together, all cousins, and so we played, and it was every day in the snow. Whenever it was, whenever it would get dark too early, we would bring our own lights to the field and
Mhm,
light it up and play. And so again, we've been playing again forever. And so what I love about soccer, um, I love that it's a team sport,
mhm, mhm,
and for me, it teaches. It can teach lifelong lessons as simple as being on time. Like that's to some people that might not be a big deal, but to me, like if you take care of the little things will take care of you. And so, and wearing the right gear, like just life lessons that I can dive more into if needed.
mhm, mhm. No, that's actually so true. Sports teach so many life lessons, and I love what you said was about being on time, being a part of a team. Little things definitely add up, and if you take care of the little things, it definitely helps you in your overall life. So thank you for sharing that. And you also mentioned you grew up in the church, and you
Mhm.
still attend to this day. How was growing up in the church and attending college help shape your character and moral compass as an adult and soccer coach?
So yeah, it's shaped me in a lot of ways. I would say like, I mean, I would say simple things like respecting your adults, or actually no, respecting anybody. That's probably the
Yeah.
biggest one, because I've seen guys that I play with that wasn't that grew up traditional, and they do respect the adults for the most part. But then
Mhm,
anybody younger than them is kind of like, you have to respect me no matter what. And so
mhm,
that was kind of a big difference for me. Again, growing up, like playing moan soccer, the people that grew up in church wasn't really the most skillful or the most sought out athlete guys, and so
mhm,
I had to go play with a lot of guys that grew up traditionally, and so that's probably one of the biggest difference that I saw. Just kind of respect towards people that were younger than them. That was probably the biggest difference.
mhm. That's actually a really great point. I do see that individuals, especially the Hmong community who grow up in the church versus traditionally, there's different levels of respect. And like you said, respecting everyone is a huge difference, even if they're younger. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. So while you were growing up and moving into your young teenage years in high school, who were some of your major influences that led you to pursue your career, college, major?
So, my parents, obviously, well, I wanted to be the first one in my family to go to college. So
Mm,
that was something I had to do for myself, and I wanted to play. And so, my parents again pushed me to become obvious. I guess to, like all the other Hmong kids, they want to be doctors, lawyers, and all these high end stuff where you make a lot of money. But for me, when I was playing when I was trying to go there. My high school coach kind of talked to me a little bit, and then my college coach was the one that was kind of, hey, like um, you don't have to make all that money if you want to do this. And so for me, again, I tell my wife all the time, like it's not about how much money we make; it's just about how much people we impact along the
mhm,
way. And so that's kind of how I chose to do soccer. It's kind of how I can impact people through soccer.
yeah. Hey, that makes a lot of sense. You know what? Whatever drives you, and I think that making the impact with, our either students, clients, or people around us sometimes outweigh the money that we make. Now, of course, money is good. It moves, and pays for things. But
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. That's really important. And who was your high school coach that influenced you the most? And what was the most meaningful life lesson that you learned from, your high school coach?
So my high school coach, I want to say he was there my junior year,
Mhm,
sophomore, junior year. What I learned from him the most is relationship wise. He wasn't very. I guess we lived out in the booty, so we for us to just have a coach, that was probably the best thing. He didn't know very much, but he dedicated himself to knowing more. And so for me, like
mhm,
seeing a guy that has nothing to do, has no idea what soccer is, just pouring himself into us. Like man, like that's
mhm.
awesome. So like I wanted to again to replicate that onward.
Mhm. No, thank you for sharing that because it's really meaningful to have somebody in high school and in your young teenage life that helps influence you to become who you are right now. So you also shared that your parents and family were strong influences in your life. What were some of the values that they instilled in you in which you practice now as an adult?
That family is important. So
Mhm,
so my team, my soccer team, we're all a big family. My family, outside of soccer. Again, we're a big family. We like to be very close, and there's almost no secrets within the family. So if something happens, again, it could be good or it could be bad. When something happens, everyone knows. And so I would say family is probably one of the most important things that my family has taught me over the
Mhm,
years. Just looking through everything again, like I said, with my grandpa having all his daughters getting married and they all live around the area, so that
mhm.
that family is important.
Yes. And definitely in the Hmong community and many ethnic communities, family is like your backbone, right? And
Hmm.
I've heard of some other ethnic groups say, "Wow, Hmong people, they're so close knit. They're very hospitable." And then you guys have a great childcare system,
Hmm.
where everybody helps with transportation and taking care of each other's kids. And like they say, it takes a village in a community to raise kids. So I think I really definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
So so here I'm going to ask you a little bit about Hmong, being one of the first Hmong coaches and not really seeing Hmong people coaching soccer. What were three things that you want your players and students to remember as one of the first Hmong soccer coaches?
So the two things that popped to my head was one, obviously, that I knew what I was doing, and then the
Okay.
other one was that they could always count on me.
Yep.
Those are probably the two things that pop into my head the most. And so after you brought the question up, I went ahead and asked some of my guys that have played for me. Some have played 3 years, some have played 4 years, saying, "Hey, like what are the three things that you remember most about me?"
Mhm.
And so this is one of the guys that uh, responded. He said I was a genius of the game, the smartest coach that he's played for. Also, a friend,
Ah.
care a lot, and want my family to be part of my soccer family. Another guy says that the thing I focused in the game of soccer changed the game and helped them see it differently. He
Mhm.
said, I work hard and treat everyone equally and pour into their lives. He said that's something that he would always remember. And another guy said, quality over quantity, family
Mm.
oriented, attention to detail, well prepared, and cool under pressure. And he said that I care too much, um, which is a good thing.
Yes. Wow, you know what? I'm so glad that you took one of the questions and you actually asked, your players, because sometimes we don't even know or maybe realize the impact and the lessons we're teaching them. But definitely, especially like you've talked about, family is so important. Now you've instilled, like you were sharing, family oriented, and that you really do care too much. But it's not a bad thing; it's a great
Yeah.
thing. I love what they said about you was seeing the game differently, and then working hard, treating everybody equally. And I think that really definitely was influenced by what you just shared about your Christian family upbringing with your grandpa, high school coach. So I think you're definitely on the right path with that. That's cool. Thank you. So now that as an adult, who are or were some of your mentors that helped you to choose your career path and life choices right now?
Yeah, so my college coach, he was probably one of the biggest impact on me, on shaping me how I do things, how I run my practices, how I kind of talk to people, how I kind of do my things. It's a little bit different how I do it, but I would say he's probably the biggest impact on me. And again, we talk regularly. Again, he's kind of been through it all, I would say, and so he's one of I would say my biggest mentor in life.
Mhm. You know, that's so cool that you regularly talk to your mentor. And I think that for most people, might not have a mentor that they talk to every day. So, what do you find that's most rewarding about talking to your mentor every day about life and coaching?
Yeah, so I guess he's been through it, and he sees, or he tries to make me see things from a different lens.
Hmm.
And so again, that kind of helps me. So whenever guys talk to me, I hope that I can let them see things through a different lens than the one they see it. So so it's just I guess it's like a domino effect where one guy tells me and I tell another guy, and he's like, oh yeah, like I've never seen it that way. And so again, like he's been through it, and he helps me see things through a different lens.
Yeah, that's awesome because sometimes I've learned that when you don't really have a mentor or somebody to guide you, you see it one way only, or you see it a certain way. And then when they teach you, like you said, to see it from a different lens, it helps everybody process it um, with not just one focus. So that's awesome. Thank you. So,
Mhm.
what are some of your current mottos, beliefs, values, and/or positive affirmations that encourage you to become who you are today?
So again, I grew up in a Christian home, so those are kind of my beliefs. But like simple things like you shouldn't kill, you should honor your mom and dad, you
Hmm.
shouldn't steal, you shouldn't lie to each other. And like I feel like for us, in living in this world, it's kind of like a me type of attitude, and like I
Hmm.
want to instill that it's not a me, it's a we type. Like if we're at practice, and you have to wear the right gear and you don't have your gear, you don't just steal it from your teammate because then he's in trouble. Because I've seen that a lot where oh man, I don't have the right gear, I'm gonna get in trouble, so I'm just gonna take it from someone else's. And like that's not what I want. um
Hmm.
and like I guess not. Again, this might not be a big deal for you guys, but
Yeah.
for me, whenever again after soccer and stuff, and we go eat, I
Mhm.
always eat last. Like that's
Mm.
just kind of my mentality, and how I choose my captains. Like again, we go eat, and I just see who's the guy that says, okay, I got to eat first because I'm more important, or who's the guy that is going to go sit at the back of the line, make sure everyone else gets to eat. And so like eating first or last for me is a big deal, just because you see who are the guys that are willing to sacrifice for others, and who are
Mhm.
the guys that are not willing to sacrifice for others.
Yes, yes. And you know what? I have to say that in my personal professional life, I have seen the difference,
Yeah.
especially what you, since you talked about this society or the world today is about me versus we. And I look for that too. That's so interesting. You talk about eating first and last. Right now I'm with a partner who has a Christian background. And one of the first things I noticed on Father's Day was that everybody, like the men ate last and had the kids and the children eat first, and it was an amazing experience, right?
Hmm.
And I'm just thinking like it takes a lot to allow everybody to eat and to sit down and relax, and then you go at the end. And
Hmm.
I have to say that that's definitely a new trend that I'm seeing now, instead
Hmm.
of the me and the we. So thank you for sharing that. It's really, actually, that's very interesting because I'm really noticing that, especially with the different backgrounds.
Yep.
All right. And so, all right, hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm just going to say hello to everybody. If you want to make comments, as in like saying hello to us, let us know where you're coming from, if you can hear us or not. Also, if you have any questions, Coach D has agreed to answer your questions as we go. I know it is kind of early. It's about 10:20 in the morning here in California. But I know that it is like what, 1:20 over there.
120
Yeah,
on the
one,
East
it's
Coast. Yep.
Eastern Standard Time. So being in Georgia, you guys are in the afternoon, but we're still early morning. But if you have any questions, please just feel free to write it in the comment section, and then Coach G and I, we can definitely discuss and answer you later on. So all right, so moving right along. So let me see, where was I? Okay, so you talked about your Christian home and how it shaped you. So that's wonderful that your Christian home have shaped your beliefs. So in your opinion, how has Christ helped you shape your players? Um, Tell us a little bit about that.
So I would say love and relationship. So with my guys, I tell them after every practice, every game we have, I was like, hey, like I love you guys. Thank you for everything you've done. And so and relationship, that's the other big one.
Yeah.
We meet once every couple weeks, mandatory meetings where they
Mhm.
come in and they sit and we just kind of talk about life. And those meetings can be very short or very long,
Mhm.
depending on how much the guy talks. Because again, like I'll ask multiple questions, but again, I'm not gonna force you to tell me something that you don't want to tell me. And
Mhm.
so those meetings have been very beneficial, and it can be very um, refreshing for
Mhm.
some. And so again, love and relationship; those are probably the two top things that come to my head when uh, that question you asked.
Yeah, that's awesome because I didn't even think about having one, the statement of saying I love you guys, and two, meeting outside of soccer practice and having a normal regular conversation. um, that's 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 just a wonderful system because then, like you said, these meetings could be long, they could be short, and they
Hmm.
could be very meaningful, even if it's just 10, 15 minutes versus an hour. So I'm not going to pry into anybody's like personal lives and what do you guys talk about, but I can definitely say it's important to have meetings and discussions outside of the game. So thank you for that. So
Hmm.
currently, who and what inspires and motivates you and why?
So when I again or before I met Steve, it was just me, and so it was kind of like, man, like, is there no one else? Is there no one else that is doing this? And so once, it's kind of funny how I met Steve. I was at a convention,
Uh-huh.
and there was one other Asian coach there, but he was a basketball coach. And he's, hey, do you know? I was, oh yeah, I'm Mong, and I forgot what he said. He was, oh yeah, I know a Mong guy too. I was like, oh really? That's cool, And so I was just kind of, okay, he's gonna give me the guy's number, and we're gonna probably say hi once, and then never probably talk to each other again. And
Mhm.
I texted Steve, and he responded. So like we kept in touch, and so it was probably like 2 3 years ago, and so we
Yeah.
we are still in the same group chat. And I would say
Mhm.
what motivates me is seeing that there's other Hmong people, not directly in my field, but as in soccer, but they're coaching in college, and so that kind
Yeah.
of was like, okay, like, it's not just me. There's a couple of us, and so that motivates me to keep going.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to say I'm in one of your group chats with all the coaches too.
Yeah.
So I feel really super privileged and blessed. And I believe that I'm trying to remember like Coach Dennis, you, Coach Ashley, Coach Steve, Coach Chance. And so
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. There's like five of you in the
Yeah.
entire United States right now on the college level. So I feel, like I said, super blessed and thankful that you guys allowed me to be a part of that conversation because he definitely, thank you, Steve, Coach Steve, for introducing me to everybody. And so that's wonderful. That's 2 to 3 years ago. So now, can you please share some of the best advices, if not life lessons, that the Hmong college coaches that you met so far have taught you?
So I would say, I mean, the thing is that we're not alone. That was the big thing for me. Like, cause like again, growing up, I was like, man, like, cause when I'm coaching, like, I don't ever see any Asian coaches at all. I see Asian players, but I don't see any
Mm-hmm,
Asian, let alone Hmong. And
mm-hmm,
so when they're like, hey, like, we're all in this together, we're gonna go through this. Like, okay, like that's kind of reassuring to me that
mm-hmm.
well, we're all in this together. We're not alone. And so that's probably the best thing that I can take from all these other Hmong coaches.
Yeah, definitely when there's only like 5 or 6 of you.
Yeah.
It's pretty lonely because you guys are all in different states. Because I think Coach Dennis is in Minnesota, you're
Hmm.
in Georgia, Coach
Uh-huh.
Steve is now in
Lu- Louisiana, I think.
Louisiana. Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
before he was in Washington, D.C.,
Uh-huh.
Coach Chance is in uh,
Colorado.
Colorado.
Uh-huh.
And then Coach Ashley is in Michigan. So you guys are
Michigan.
spread out throughout
Yep.
the US right now, but that's awesome. You guys get to share, process your experiences. So, right now, what are some challenges, if not in the past, or obstacles that you faced so far? And then what have you learned from them so far?
So some of the challenges I face, again, as I mentioned earlier, like, I don't ever, I have not met any other head coaches, Asian head coaches, and
Mm-hmm,
so I feel like we are like kind of looked down upon. Like, like for
mm-hmm,
example, my personal opinion is that, uh, again, you guys don't know him, but Son from Tottenham, he's like
mm-hmm,
the Korean. If he wasn't Asian, he would probably uh suit like well known like everywhere because he's doing everything that all these top guys are doing, but because he's Asian, he's not getting
mm-hmm,
recognition that he deserves. uh
mm-hmm,
so like for example, like for me, as Asian people, I feel like we are the guys that are kind of last on the totem pole.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Probably I would say, if you have an accent, you probably have more like a British or European accent. You probably have more of a, they're like, oh, he's probably good because he's from overseas. And then
mm-hmm,
we have the American guys who feel like they are top notch, and then there's the minority, which is like the Asian guys who's kind of on the bottom of the totem pole because
mm-hmm.
people don't think Asian people can play soccer.
Right, right.
That's the big thing. So let
Yeah,
alone coach soccer. So
yeah.
so that's kind of like where I feel like I'm I got to recruit more, or I got to recruit harder, or I got to do more so that I can be even getting to talk to these guys that are really high star recruits.
Yeah, and you know what? That's so interesting because In the Hmong community, we play soccer. I grew up playing soccer. Well, because I'm a girl, my dad made me play volleyball, but my brothers and everybody was playing soccer all the time at
Yeah.
William Land Park. So shout out to anybody who's grown up in Sacramento. We always went to William Land Park to play soccer. But it's so interesting because soccer is, I think, a pretty well known sport in the Hmong community. Other than playing katao, right, and the volleyball.
Uh-huh.
So I definitely am supportive of that. Is to continue to recruit Hmong players and coaches and to gather that group up because we definitely want to represent our community, especially the Asian community. But yeah, I believe Michael, and Brian
Uh-huh.
Vang, they are the first professional
Yep.
soccer players.
They
So
are.
a shout out to them again too, because they are playing on a national level and have already played international. And
Hmm.
so I definitely want to continue to highlight our soccer players, soccer coaches, if not just college coaches. So if you have anybody in the future that you want to highlight and to showcase, please let me know. We can definitely have them on Project We Inspire. We want everybody to start recognizing our Asian coaches and players.
Hmm.
Alrighty, so here's a couple of our last questions here. Um, so, if a young adult, or let's say a person in our community, want to pursue, being a college coach as a career, what are some essential steps that they need to take and know before starting?
Um, I would say the first thing they should know is that if they're in it for the money, to not do it for the money, because you're not, the amount of hours you put in is probably, you're probably getting paid 5 cents an hour or something like that. So if you're gonna do it for the money, uh, you're in the wrong field.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely heard that. I think so far every single coach that I that in the circle, have said practically if you really calculate it, you get cents or dollars to the
Yeah.
hour.
Yep.
And I
It's,
said, "What? That's almost like being a teacher and a counselor, and I'm a
uh-huh.
social worker." So I was just thinking, like all the hours and all the dedication. When you really look at it, you're right. It's like five cents up to like $1 an hour
Yeah.
because we work around the clock, and
Hmm.
it's not the typical 9 to 5 job,
Agreed.
and it's not weekday job. It is weekend whenever it's needed. So definitely, that's so true.
Yep.
So please share with us what's an inspirational message that you would like to motivate or impact the youth and community today to pursue their dreams and goals and passions before we go. What's one thing that's really stuck out to you?
So one of my quotes is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. He says,
Mhm,
"Do not go where the path may lead. Instead, go instead where the path where there is no path, and leave a trail." That's kind of been my quote, my motto, as far as I can remember.
mhm. What made you choose that quote? What was about that quote? Just
So
curious.
again, growing up, there was no other um, m- Asian coach that I can talk to, let alone Moan. And
Mhm,
so, I was like, okay, like I guess I'll be the first. I'll blaze the way, and
mhm.
hopefully, I can leave a trail for somebody else that who wants to do it, so that whenever they do come through it, it's not. I've already been through all the obstacles for them, and they can kind of just piggyback off of me and probably hopefully go further than what I go accomplish more than what I would accomplish.
Yeah. That's awesome. Definitely you and the other Hmong coaches and Asian coaches are leaving that trail, and you guys are definitely gathering all the experiences to get you guys um, you know, um, more known in the field so that others can come after each one of you. So thank you so much. Thank you to all the audience and everybody for sharing your life stories. Again, Coach Steve Hugh is from Toccoa Falls College in
Hmm.
Toccoa Falls, Georgia. So we really, truly are blessed to have you and all the coaches to be sharing your story. It is pretty quick. Wow, we did this in like 30 minutes about.
Yeah.
But that's cool because, like I said, we really definitely have reviewed this, and we hope that each one of you who hears Coach Chief's story, that you guys can reach out to him. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me. If you guys are interested to knowing any more of the coaches, definitely we want to again highlight their influences in a lot of the young people's lives today. So remember to stay safe. Stay healthy out there. And then my quote here at Project We Inspire is together we inspire for a better future. So, please have a wonderful Saturday. Join us again next Saturday, April 23rd at 10 o'clock, same time in the morning. Next Saturday, I'll be interviewing Coach Ashley Xiongbang from Michigan. So she is a head basketball coach in Michigan. So thank you so much, Coach Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a great day, everybody.